Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gomansing. Topping our newscast tonight, a prominent radio station owner was arrested Wednesday for failure to file and pay taxes for several years. Jonathan Cohen is the owner of JKC Communications, Clara Communications, and Radio 95. His arrest was announced jointly by the Attorney General's Office and the Bureau of Internal Revenue Wednesday. Cohen is charged with failure to file taxes from 2004 through 2010. Allegedly, Cohen's corporations took in a gross income of more than $10 million for that period, and the government alleges he failed to pay taxes on it. The government also alleges that Cohen failed to file gross receipts tax returns for the same period. The Department of Justice and the IRB have formed a task force to address delinquent taxes, and they say this arrest is just one of many more to come. JKC is the parent company of popular stations like IL 95, Sunny 99.5, Mongoose 104.9 FM, AM 97, and WSTX FM 100. More than 4,000 retirees will be getting refunds in June. Senator Alicia Hansen had been fighting for retirees to get back the monies they were owed since 2010, when 8% was withheld from their retroactive payments. News2's Erica Parsons has that story.
Senator Alicia Hansen is recording a win today, announcing Tuesday in a statement that retirees will get back the money that was wrongly taken from their 2010 retroactive pay. Hansen said Retirement Administrator Austin Nibbs confirmed that refunds will be released on June 16th. Pensioners were owed for salary increases they never got between 1989 and 2002. That represents a total of roughly $1.5 million. When they were finally paid in 2010, Medicare and Social Security were withheld from their back pay, as well as an 8% employee contribution to be paid to the retirement system. Retirement groups took up the fight demanding repayment, and Retirement Administrator Nibbs said they should be paid, but the law would have to be changed to allow him to do so, so Senator Hansen petitioned for a special session. Hansen's legislation was fast-tracked through the Senate in February and signed into law by Governor DeYoung in March. The law is amended to say that a retiree who is paid retroactive wages isn't subject to pay any contribution to the system from those wages. It goes on to say that the system has to refund the retiree if that happens. The seniors will also get 9% interest on top of that refund, thanks to a provision added in the bill by Senator Hansen. Erica Parsons, News 2.
Well, Governor DeYoung signed the bill into law on March 17th. Senate President Sean Michael Malone and Senators Tregenza Roach and Donald Cole co-sponsored the legislation. The Committee of the Whole, chaired by Senate President Sean Michael Malone, met at the Earl B. Otley Legislative Hall Tuesday evening for a public hearing to discuss several zoning requests. T. Stewart Smith, who is the Director of the Division of Comprehensive and Coastal Zone Planning at the Department of Planning and Natural Resources, shared an extensive report on each property, including intended usage, analysis, and recommendations. Members of the 30th Legislature were particularly excited about a zoning change for a business venture by VI Finest Foods, LLC. If approved, the zone change will allow for the construction of a supermarket on the western end of the island. Well, also members of the 30th Legislature celebrated Centenarian Ursula Aunt Sula Krieger at the Earl B. Otley Legislative Hall on Wednesday, one day after her 112th birthday. Senator Myron D. Jackson, chairman of the Committee on Culture, Historic Preservation, Youth, and Recreation, organized the event, a gathering of friends, family, and members of the community to give honor to the living legend.
She engages in current events. When I say current events, she could hold any conversation on politics, economics, social activities, cultural, and she has also a mind of her own in reference to where this society should go.
The fact that she's seen so many troubled times, as leaders here, my colleagues join me. I'm sure you can join me in saying sometimes it gets so stressful. And when we look at Anzula and all that she went through, we know this too shall pass.
Well, what a great recognition. In other news, Criminal Investigation Bureau detectives on St. Croix have arrested a suspect in connection with the 2013 fatal shooting. Ronald Hatcher, 69 years of age, surrendered himself to police and was arrested pursuant to an arrest warrant about 6 a.m. on April 22nd and was charged with second-degree murder.
On September 26, 2013, Hatcher and the victim, 43-year-old Jose Edgardo Rivera Berrios, were involved in a confrontation near the Pucha Bar in Christiansted. Witnesses said Hatcher shot the victim at least once. EMTs who arrived on the scene said the victim was unresponsive. Hatcher voluntarily surrendered his licensed firearm to police at that time.
Meanwhile, Crime Stoppers USVI thanks you for making a difference. Remember, if you know something, say something, everything counts. Crime Stoppers USVI will pay a cash reward of up to $2,500. Here's our Crime Stoppers report on St. Thomas on April 11th at 10 p.m. Officers were dispatched to a call for multiple shots fired in Anna's Retreat, adjacent to the Tutu high-rise housing community. Police discovered that the driver and passenger of a blue Suzuki Esteem had been shot multiple times and died. The victims were later identified as 20-year-old Jaquan Morel and 18-year-old Taquana Petty. Over on St. Croix, a number of burglaries and larcenies have occurred in the Ario Diaz Heights housing community, Estate Lorraine, Candido, Guadalupe, and surrounding communities. If you know of anyone buying or selling stolen property in these areas, police say please report it. Now over on St. John, police say on April 14th, they received a report that a $5,000 Black Canon handheld video camera was taken from a rental car in the area of Mongoose Junction between 2:30 and 5 p.m. If you have information about these crimes, you are urged to call Crime Stoppers USVI at 1-800-222-8477. High school juniors and seniors are showing off their debating skills this week for the 20th Appellate Moot Court Competition. 3 St. Croix schools and 5 St. Thomas schools are participating in this year's competition that will take place over 3 days. They'll have to provide oral arguments on whether or not the Department of Education is constitutionally responsible to protect students from bullying. Winners will receive scholarships. Now, the competition began Wednesday on St. Thomas at 10 a.m. and will continue on St. Croix the rest of the week at the District Court. Good luck to all the students. April 22nd is recognized as Earth Day throughout the world, and here in the Virgin Islands, several organizations conducted a week-long celebration by visiting schools and hosting eco-fairs to educate the youth about the importance of the environment. NEWS2's Shanika Robinson has that story.
In honor of Earth Day, several schools and organizations decided to give back to the community throughout the week. The employees at the Crucian Rum Distillery beautified their working environment a little more to add to the Earth Day movement.
We do this work all the time, but today we've decided to bring in some more plants and flowers and shrubs to enhance the property a little bit more.
Earth Day is an annual event celebrated on April 22nd, on which events are held worldwide to demonstrate support for environmental protection. It was first celebrated in 1970 and is now coordinated globally by the Earth Day Network and celebrated in more than 192 countries each year. Today, the Virgin Islands National Guard visited the Reed and Rainbow School to educate the students about Earth Day.
Today, what we'll be doing with them is showing them how to garden, how to start a plant using different recycled items, meaning anything from an egg carton. And then we also have some fruits, gooseberries, and we're showing them from the gooseberry to the stew and what the healthy vitamin properties are of it.
And the 21st Annual Eco Fair was held at the Botanical Gardens, where approximately 623 students had the opportunity to visit several stations to learn more about the environment.
It's a way for our 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th graders on the island to get a look at everything that's going on the island in terms of the environment that can help them celebrate Earth Day and celebrate nature and also learn a lot about it.
Shanika Robinson, NEWS2.
And turning our attention stateside, the IRS is under the microscope again, this time for paying millions of dollars in bonuses to employees who faced disciplinary action. It comes on the heels of last year's scandal where the agency allegedly singled out Tea Party organizations applying for tax-exempt status. Craig Boswell is in Washington with more on the latest Inspector General's report.
Internal IRS investigators report 2,800 employees disciplined for misconduct received bonuses worth more than $2.8 million. The conduct issues ranged from late payment and even non-payment of taxes to misuse of government-issued travel cards and even fraud. The report points out the IRS does not consider tax compliance or other misconduct when issuing performance awards. The IRS union contract actually prohibits the agency from taking disciplinary action into account when awarding bonuses. That's something lawmakers want changed.
Congress needs to say that bonuses are not an entitlement and that, in fact, they must not be paid for a period of time after reprimands or other wrongdoing.
Republican Darrell Issa, who led the House investigation into the IRS Tea Party scandal, says this is the latest example of problems within the tax agency.
The IRS has more than a smidgen of wrongdoing, and they need to make more than a smidgen of change.
The IRS says it's developed a policy for senior-level employees linking conduct to bonuses and will consider a similar policy for the entire agency. The National Treasury Employees Union, which covers IRS workers, says it will review any proposed changes to the union contract. Craig Boswell for CBS News, Washington.
And keeping our eye on the economy, here's our New York Stock Exchange with the Stock Market Watch. The Dow, Nasdaq, S&P all down. The Dow 12, Nasdaq down 34, S&P also down at 4. Coming up on News 2, do we have some future Mighty Sparrows, Kitchener, and Mighty Chalk Dust Calypsonians? See how creative the young VI Calypsonians are. Highlights. The Junior Calypso Competition last night brought out 13 enthusiastic and talented youngsters who were judged on lyrics, melody, clarity, presentation, originality, and rendition. The winner of the primary division was 7-year-old Jashai Mighty Jashai Narcisse of the Gladys Abraham School with his song entitled I Am Blessed. The intermediate division winner is Nikel Prince Short Shirt Emmanuel, an 11-year-old All Saints School student who sang Get Off the Corner. And in the secondary division, the winner was 14-year-old Nakaya Princess Kiki Esdale, who sang about Mandela.
Good carnival this year because we are blessed. Woo! Oh! My island is a classroom to me. Everywhere I go, I'm learning more. I can go to mountain top to see my banana tree. Every day, look at I'm in from morning to evening, but you don't sleep. Right there on the corner, it's coming the future. Wake up and live. Ain't cross my heart to see all the young men in this country. Mandela, your achievement can never be measured. Mandela, your people will remain. Your memories will be treasured. For the role you have played and the competence you displayed. Every chapter of your life story will survive in our memory. His spirit was never broken from all those years he spent in confinement, but only to be strengthened to become his nation's greatest president.
Wednesday is the Cultural Night, King and Queen of the Band at 8 p.m. And these are the other events coming up to mark on your calendar. Thursday, the Ola Calypsonians take to the stage. Then Friday, April 25th, it's the opening of the Royal Palm Carnival Village, 6 p.m. at the 4th Christian parking lot with a ribbon cutting and ceremony honoring Percival Percy Taylor and David Didi Sharp Dawson. Now, Governor John P. Young Jr. has signed a proclamation which provides leave for government employees during the upcoming carnival festivities. The governor authorized commissioners and agency heads to grant administrative leave to non-essential employees in order to encourage greater participation in the carnival festivities as follows. In the district of St. Thomas St. John only, Wednesday, April 30th, which is the Food, Arts, and Crafts Fair Day, from 12 p.m. to 5. Then Thursday, May 1st, the morning of Juve from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Territory-wide, Friday, May 2nd for the Children's Parade Day from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The leave authorized by the governor does not apply to essential employees or those on a regular or rotating shift, nor does it apply to employees of the Department of Education who may be required to work in order to make up for the instructional days lost as a result of the odor incident at the Central High School on St. Croix. Claudette Watson-Anderson, CPA, Director of the Virgin Islands Bureau of Internal Revenue, announces the extension of the April 30th due dates for both the gross receipts tax return and the hotel room tax return. And that's due to the upcoming carnival activities. The St. Thomas offices at Red Hook and Niskey will be closed at noon on Wednesday, April 30th, which is the actual due date for these tax returns. Taxpayers who are unable to file their gross receipts and hotel room tax returns by noon will be allowed to file their returns on Monday, May 5th, 2014, which is the next business day for the St. Thomas District. These returns will not be considered late, again, due to the administrative leave granted for the carnival season. In other news, 7 students on 6 teams advanced to the final round of the 3rd annual UVI's 13D Entrepreneurship Competition. The day-long final round session brought the selected students who are vying for a total of $60,000 in prize money to help seed their business startup ideas. The students and their team affiliations are Allison DeGazon, Crucian Organics Farm, Kimberly Smith, Nannies to the Rescue, Patsy Brunelin, Fantasia Trop or Garden, Christopher Williams, Project A, Nicholas Goldman, Jumbi Juice, and Rhoda Usman, and Brandon Boganu, WUVI team. There are high school students winners also. Be sure to tune in to News 2 on Thursday for the highlights and the winners. Here's a little more about the competition.
13D is a student entrepreneurship competition. It is also done at the high school, but today we are focused on the university competition. It starts in October. It goes on all year long. We have dozens of students that start out in the fall trying to prepare business ideas and their proposals. They start their presentations in October, November. They make several presentations with feedback from mentors, in which time they're constantly improving and revising their proposals. We eventually get to a mid-round, which is their first competitive round, where we eliminate over half the teams typically. And so what you see today is the 6 top teams presenting, and as you can see, they are entrepreneurially on fire, very innovative, very creative, just amazing proposals.
And congratulations to all the students, and be sure to tune in to News 2, and we'll have more on the 13D competition. 3 local employers joined the list of nearly 3,000 companies nationwide named for a high honor. Mahogany Run Golf Course, the VI Department of Health, and the VI Legislature were all nominated for the 2014 Employer Support Freedom Award. It's the highest recognition given to employers by the Department of Defense for going above and beyond to support Guard and Reserve members. Semi-finalists will be announced later this spring, and 15 from that group will be chosen this summer to attend the annual Freedom Award ceremony in September at the Pentagon. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.